Let them be scared that it's different, you know, because then there's more of the same, but then the next one is going to be different again, you know.
Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Belgian Jasper. If this is your first time in the channel, hit subscribe right now. Joe, thank you so much for your time today. Now, I have a very important question first about the safety of one of your band members, because the last time that I saw you, you probably didn't see me because I was one of thousands in front of the Alcatraz stage. At the end of that show, we couldn't find Max anymore. So just making sure that you found him by now and that he's okay.
Yeah. We wheeled him back in.
It's kind of funny because in Alcatraz, you know, big festival for Belgium, you started playing some bigger festivals in 2014 and 15. And I remember seeing an interview with you at that time, and you were very happy to be playing very early on I think it was Picklebook. And you were saying, you know, I'm enjoying it, but I fear it might be over any day now. Now we're 7 years you know, down the line, a couple of albums, a couple of EPs, worldwide support by Napalm. For Evil Invaders, the secret has been hard work and full dedication.
Yeah, definitely. In the beginning, it went really fast for us because, like, as soon as we released our EP, Napalm contacted us and we went on tours and stuff, and then we did big festivals. So you never know. It could always be just a hype, you know. And we weren't like taking these things so seriously back then, you know. It just happened so fast that we were like, "Whoa, shit!" Jump on the train and you keep on going, you know.
You said that you weren't very serious about these things when you got started, but I feel like you guys had to like make a conscious decision, like, hey, we are going to change the way we do things.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about that, how that went the last 2 years for you?
Well, the thing is, like, in the beginning when we started, we just, as you said, we were playing all the youth clubs in Belgium, you know, and sometimes we would, when it was still the time with MySpace and stuff, you know, we would contact bands in Germany and say like, hey, we'll get you guys a gig here if you get us a gig over there, you know. So we do some exchange shows, like all DIY stuff, you know. And from there, it just kept on going. And as we grew, like, as we were playing more and more, we got better, obviously. And then we saw, like, as soon as we released some music, actually, because we played with our first demo tape for like 4 years or something, you know, so we were just playing and drinking, you know. But as soon as we released something, like our first EP, we saw that people were actually digging our music for real, you know, and they were singing along with the songs, and then we were like, okay, we might have some more potential than we initially thought.
And then that music has also, you know, evolved somewhat over time. And you know, most recently there was a live album that was released as well. But just before that, the final studio release was the single "Broken Dreams in Isolation," a better prophetic title for the last 2 years. Does not exist. You know, you guys were almost trying to stay ahead of COVID when you were doing your headline tour in Germany, because I remember that you guys were like often the last band to play in a venue, and sometimes not able to play in a venue anymore as COVID was catching up. What was that like for you as an experience?
Well, if we didn't really realize what was going on at the time, we were like, dude, what the fuck are they thinking now? You know, like some stupid flu and everybody's going crazy, because we were isolated in our van, you know, and we're just going from place to place. And we were shaking hands with 100 people every day, and places were locking down, and we're like, what's going on, you know? And we actually realized the last 3 days of our tour, when we arrive at the venue, we do the sound check, and then the guy from the club comes to us and says like, yeah, there's going to be some new laws around, I mean, like new rules for the COVID situation, and it might be that we have to close the venue. I'm like, what? But we already sound checked and stuff. He said like, yeah, at 4 o'clock we'll know. And then it was 4 and they still didn't know or something like that. And people were lining up in front of the door already because they had their tickets. And then the guy had to cancel the show. So we had to just tear down the stage again, pack our stuff, go to the next venue because it was different. It was in Germany and it was like different regions had different rules. So we drove to the next venue that night, and when we arrived there in the morning, we noticed like, guys, show's not gonna happen. Here's some food and have a nice trip home, you know. So that was quite shitty, you know. And then we actually realized, because we had a Polish driver, and he said like, oh, I need to go home to my wife and kids because if I don't leave tonight, if I don't make it in time, they're gonna close the borders and stuff. And then he was stuck in Germany. So it was like, whoa, what the fuck is going on? I remember coming home from tour, and me and my girl just bought like a house, and that needed to be renovated entirely. So for that, it was perfect timing, basically. Like, I just went to the store, bought all the stuff I needed, and just started renovating our house for the first 3 months of COVID. I was just working from morning till night in the house. And then when that was done, I had my gear installed here in the back, you know. I could start recording and doing the pre-productions of the record, you know. And then I had time, like, that was so cool to actually write songs without time pressure. Because normally we're like, okay, we got to start writing songs because by the end of the year we will need to have this album wrapped up. Right now it was like, okay, let's just write, and we hit the studio when we're ready. So that was really cool. I mean, I think it resulted in the best album that we ever did. I'm very proud of the way that we could spend time on this, on the songwriting, working with a producer for the first time and stuff, you know. It was very cool.
I mentioned the song Broken Dreams in Isolation. Sure, the title was just a funny coincidence maybe with the way the world fell apart, but that was also, you know, a more mid-tempo song than we had, you know, really gotten used to from Evil Invaders, where, you know, it was always 1,000 miles per hour, non-stop, which is also a lot of fun, which got you traction. But we see that evolution on this album, you know, going further, to even the point that, you know, we've now seen, you know, your single In Deep Is Black, which is almost a power ballad by Evil Invaders. And we hear, you know, where in the past people would always say Evil Invaders, yep, Razor, Exciter. Now you hear people say, oh yeah, we hear King Diamond, we hear Scorpions even, we hear Sanctuary, you know, stuff like that. Is that a fair statement that the band is truly finding its not just from a maturity, but also from a musical perspective, its own identity?
I think we always had like a clear view of what we wanted to do, but it's just like, it just happens to get better all the time. So I would say like the evolution we had from Pulses of Pleasure to Feed Me Violence, our second record, was already pretty big. Well, it's doubled now, you know, so but there's more time in between as well. I think we've just been writing songs for the last 5 years now, or like 4 years, let's say, and we had like 20 demos to choose from. Also, Max had like some side project stuff that never happened, so we had like different styles of songs as well, and it was kind of cool to just have the time to experiment, like, okay, what can we do with these songs as well, because they're good, you know, it's something different, but it's cool, and as long as we like it, it's gonna be Evil Invaders, you know.
Alone in total darkness, memories won't take me back. Can someone tell me why I'm lost in deepest black?
Because when we started out as a band, I always had the idea of playing heavy metal, but I never really found a singer that could sing it, so I started singing, and we ended up with something more aggressive, you know. I like the fact that we can go both ways now.
Right.
We can write as you said, like something more like Scorpions as well, you know, I mean, and Sanctuary, and we can do Exodus kind of stuff as well, but we mix all these influences and try to create something that keeps the listener like entertained throughout the entire record, you know?
This new, let's call it, era or age for the band where you guys feel grown to a level that you feel comfortable in trying these new things, and it's also reflected in the artwork in some subtle ways, like because we see the band's logo shatter some sort of mirror, and in the pieces that fly away we see some callbacks to earlier artwork as well, as if the band is almost forcefully exploding its past a bit. Is that a right interpretation of the artwork, or
No, definitely. There's a lot of that stuff in there, and I always like to make connections to the past as well, because it's there, you know. And the thing is, like the broken mirror in the beginning should like also represent like bad luck and stuff, and you just break through and keep on going. Like I write things that just come to mind. I write my lines down when I'm in the car or something. I just have a line in my head and I'm like, oh, this is really cool. And in the end, they just fall together and create something that has different stories within one song. And I think that's very interesting, because that way, for example, a song like In Deepest Black, I've heard people say like, what is it about? Is it about this? Is it about that? Is it about lost love? Is it about, you know, the pandemic, whatever, you know? And I like the idea that everybody can kind of relate to just one lyric.
Alone in total darkness, memories won't take me back. Can someone tell me why I'm lost?
The reactions have been extremely positive, and people are like, yeah, I love the fact that you guys are just trying all these different things together. Was that still, even with the previous album that already had some of that evolution, was that still, were there a few people when you guys were deciding, okay, what is the next single going to be? And you said like, hey, In Deepest Black. Were there people that go like, ooh, is that too different? Or were you scary at all for what reactions could be?
Remember the other guys were a bit like, but I'm like, dude, it's like one of our best songs ever.
Yeah.
So, and I love contrasts. I really love like tricking people a bit, you know, like when when you release that as your first single, they're like, what happened? What's the rest of the song's gonna be like? And then Sledgehammer Justice came, which is like a straightforward bam, you know. Let them be scared that it's different, you know, because then there's more of the same, but then the next one is gonna be different again, you know. As long as we do what we like, I really don't care about what people think.
Now, talking about Sledgehammer Justice, you're absolutely right. It's more in our face. A fun thing in that video is how the band is introduced in like a comic book style. Should we have, get our hopes up for an Evil Invaders horror-inspired comic book at some point?
No plans for that yet, but we'll think about it.
Now break free from the life that you lead. Sledgehammer Justice, the law of the street.
It's not the same everywhere in the world, so that will limit you right now in making a lot of plans potentially. But can you share a little bit about the plans that you guys have to, bring this music on the road and go see your fans worldwide?
Well, right now we just have our release party planned on the 2nd of April. Then we have some shows through the Netherlands, and then we're gonna do festivals. But there's no real tour confirmed yet, unfortunately. So, but we're working on stuff. Our booker is looking into possibilities, but it's very unclear at the moment, like for Europe at least. And we've never been to America before, so I would love to actually get my ass over there one day. Hopefully with this record we'll manage to.
So I mean, needless to say, I would say work on the right visas already today. Technically speaking, you've been to the States, but that was not the biggest success. Joe, thank you so much for your time today. I'm super excited about the new album coming out. Great to see Napalm continue to really promote and push those, growing younger bands as well. Great label to be on, I think, as a younger band. And I'm sure that the fans will get super excited on April 2nd at the release show. And we'll keep our eyes open.
Can't wait to play the new stuff.
Yeah. And let's just, all those chains that you have on the stage with an Evil Invader show, maybe just attach one to Max so that if he starts running around, that he can actually run away from the stage and stay until the end. Perfect. Awesome. Joe, thank you so much for your time. Really excited about the new album and can't wait to see all the buzz around the release cycle.
All right. Thank you very much.
Sledgehammer justice, the law of the street. Sledgehammer justice is all that you need.
You are awesome for watching this video. Click right here to see more content like it and subscribe to the channel.